Yeah, we're good.
Ladies and gents, welcome back to another episode of the Pitstop podcast. Wow, it's been an intense few days. You've had 2 pods out this week.
Yeah, we've really been hitting it hard. We're still not quite recovered from Switzerland.
We're not.
But we've got a very exciting guest of us today because it is the man that made everything happen.
This guy has really gone above and beyond for us in these last couple of weeks, and we can't thank him enough. Ladies and gents, it is Shy.
Oh, boys, what an intro. What an intro. I've come here, brought a gift, I've broken some stuff.
Literally grasping it in the hand.
It's been over 5 seconds. He's dropped the camera and broken it.
Not even 5, it's like 10 seconds. I've smashed my camera.
To give you a little bit of backstory, this is the guy that basically got us to Zandvoort. Helped us out so much in the paddock. Without you, there's no way we would have got Bottas.
There's a team involved, but I was just stoked to have you.
But you were the
there,
instigator.
Yeah.
You're the one who were like, we need to get these guys.
You know what? You boys deserve to be there. I'm so stoked with how that episode turned out and stuff. So it was all worth it.
How did you even find us?
I listened to your through what was the podcast? The first podcast I think I listened to was Jensen Buttons. I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because I follow. I can't remember who it was now, or maybe it was earlier. Because I follow Lissy and Hannah, and they came on as well.
Yeah,
so I'm pretty sure I saw those TikToks, and then I listened to the actual Jensen Button podcast. I was like, all right, these boys are cool. Right, let's see what they're about.
I feel like it's a bit of a risk getting us out to the paddock and stuff, because you just don't know what we're not very by the book. So fair play to you for taking a risk. And
Dude, you know what?
We behaved.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For the most part. for what we can, I think we can say on the podcast. Yeah.
Do you want to just quickly give the people before we show that amazing thing you're holding? Do you want to just quickly tell the people what it is you do at Alfa Romeo?
So I am the content creator for the team, and it's kind of like a hybrid role. So I'm like social media manager / content creator. But I feel like I've been in that role for every job I've been into now. You can't really just do one or the other. It's got to be both. You know. And if you don't, then you're kind of missing out or losing out, because there's going to be someone who can do both.
Right.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of that in Formula One, isn't there?
A lot.
Like people doing double jobs and that.
But I feel like Alpha's quite a unique scenario, because there is where at other teams they've got huge teams. Alpha's quite small. It's a very very small team, and everybody's all hands on deck. They're an insane team. They're work over clock.
They're all absolute machines. Everyone that we've met is unreal.
Such an amazing family. I'm so glad to be part of it.
Insane.
We're going to have to get into your whole career and how you got to where you are, but I need to know what this is.
Yeah, we need to see this gift, bro.
Okay,
brought us a gift.
So I saw on the pod last time, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah. So I was
it.
I kind of want to show up with something, So I probably should have opened this before, really.
Do you want some scissors or a knife or
I
something?
might be able to slide it out, but I was what's something personal?
Oh my god! Oh my god, that is unbelievable!
That is sick.
So
that is so sick.
There's the things you can hang them up with.
No way.
That is going to look amazing in the background.
I was something personal. I shot the photo, so I was we give something from me to you.
Yep.
I don't know where you're going to stick it.
Do you know what?
We covered all the hooks.
Do you know what we need
place.
though?
We'll definitely get a place for that. That is so sick. That's such a cool photo.
Do you know what? This is actually not originally.
You got to sign it.
Mate, do you know what? Do you know what? Can I practice it and maybe sign it after? Because I haven't written anything in a very long time.
Practice on there.
I'll practice
Making him sign it live on the pod. My handwriting is so bad.
It's
I'd
so bad.
absolutely
It's
blow it.
so bad. But no, I hope you like it. But I was so this was one of the smaller sizes, right? So I originally picked a big. It was almost a meter by meter, and I was yeah, that'd be fine. That's not that big. And I was actually, and my girlfriend was yeah, maybe go smaller just in case.
No, that's the perfect size. We can stick that.
That's definitely going to get in the background.
I don't know where you could fit it, but
we got a few gaps because we always move the background around. Sometimes the guest is there, sometimes they're there. So we can move it around. Maybe we can even put it in between.
Do you know what? These guys don't even get to see what's around right now. This is so cool.
I know, it is weird, walking into our flat, and you don't really expect it to be
not at all.
A setup like this in the lounge.
It's a sick
No, not really, but I love it. We just need a
it.
few more lights, maybe, or something over there.
Thing is, it's home for you guys, isn't it? So you can be more chill.
Yeah, that's the thing. We were really chill for this episode because we know this is probably the one we've been most chill for.
Yeah.
Every other guest.
Dude, after the last one, of course.
Yeah.
Come on, that was the most stress I think you should ever be under.
Oh my god!
What did you think when I texted you that night? And
Dude,
said
I was panicking. So I was out at dinner, right? And I saw the call come through after it came through. I was I should probably just check. And I was what's going on? What's happened? And then Katha was calling. So what's going on? And then I heard is it a voice note or something? I can't remember how it was. You're the flight's cancelled. I was what do we do? How do we get you guys there? Like, figure it out. Maybe you guys can do it, whatever. And then you message saying you're gonna fucking drive. I was like, what? I thought you were joking.
No way.
How long's the drive? How long was it?
It was from Luton, because we were in Luton,
I
right?
thought it was Heathrow.
No, we had to
That's
drive.
even worse.
Luton to Folkestone, 2 hours, and then like 9 hours the other side.
I can't even drive a manual, so Fab had to do pretty much the whole drive.
That's insane.
Well, no, but
man.
he did do the whole
Pretty
drive.
much the whole time.
He
did do the whole
Well,
drive.
no, you held the steering wheel once while I took
I
the
did
jump
have
off.
the steering wheel once when he took your jump
Which, yeah, it was nice. It was nice to have like a short break.
And then you killed a rabbit.
You seen the video?
I've seen the video.
Dude, my face in it, I'm just like,
Bro,
I
it was
can't
like
believe it.
heartbreak because you're this there like
It was 10 seconds after we got off the Eurotunnel. We come straight out France and it happened straight away.
Oh,
and then we get to Alfa
man.
Romeo, and at that point we're shattered. Like,
Of course,
we haven't even
man.
stopped. The only time we stopped was to like get some food or go to the toilet. Or you had like a
I
45-minute
had
nap.
like a 20-minute nap because I was
like-
barely sleeping.
a small window, right?
Yeah.
To get there.
Honestly, like we had half an hour when we got there. So like we had to make the early train. Oh, it was just nuts. It was like a MI5 mission, wasn't it? It was
Yeah,
crazy.
literally we pulled up half an hour
I
before.
can't believe you boys drove.
It's a shame you weren't there, bro.
Yeah,
Man,
I know.
I know. I was doing like other events and stuff because I do like freelance bits on the side. So, but oh, man, I'm stoked you guys made it though.
Yeah, we saw.
And it turned out really well. It was
Dominica.
really, it was really nice. It was a really good episode.
It
I
came
think the
out
boys
a
were
lot
good.
better.
No,
Yeah,
I thought they
100%.
responded well.
Yeah. I've never like they seem so relaxed as well. Like usually it's like the same questions and stuff, but the podcast is like really chill. It's like
They did like a whole day of like press and stuff, didn't they? At
Yeah.
this thing. So we was
Yeah.
like, you know what, if they're tired, it is what it is. But now they showed up, so it was
man, I'm stoked it worked out.
To be fair, all the questions you were going to ask, you said that you completely forgot.
completely went out my head,
You're
man.
probably delirious at that point.
We were so delirious. If you, like, our eyes were so glazed over. We got back in the car after we had to drive to the hotel. I just
Yeah.
looked at Fab, and I was like, "We going out tonight then?" And his eyes are just like completely glazed over. And we
Even
actually,
Joe said it afterwards. Joe was like, "You look fucked." I was like, "Yeah, I am, bro. I really am."
oh, no, it's an amazing journey. Thank you so much for
Nah,
sorting
mate,
that
no,
out.
hey, it's a full team.
This
behind
man
that, like-
sat here is the reason we had the drivers on. You have to take credit.
No,
you
not
did
at all,
everything.
not at all. Honestly,
You
it's,
did.
it's
It's all
you
you, man.
guys though. Like, come on, the work that you guys have put in over the past year. Like, when did you even start this podcast?
February.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Feb.
February.
The
This
end of
year?
Feb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
No way.
Yeah, it was end of Feb. It was the last week in Feb.
Yeah,
wasn't
we
it?
were looking back at the clips yesterday because we'd been like filming loads of behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, but end of Feb.
Boys, you know how insane that is?
It's pretty crazy.
That's
yeah,
mad.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
crazy
crazy.
because this is a sport that millions of people would love to work in.
Yeah.
And like we've kind of within 7 months just built this.
Yeah.
But I think it's only work because we're new. And like there's so many other new fans that
I think so.
it gives them a way to learn
Sort of
with
learn
us.
with
and-
you, go along that journey.
Yeah,
I
we were
think it's
talking
so
about in our
sick.
pod last night. It's like the coolest way to learn. Without
Yeah.
a doubt, because we were at the races
Yeah.
or we're pulling people from the races here.
course.
And then getting like the behind the scenes
Oh,
stories.
just throwing yourself into the mix and just being in the thick of it is like the best way to learn.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like there's been any pressure on us because no one knew us in the beginning.
true.
So we didn't have to try and pretend to be like anyone.
It's you know what? It's like there's a lot of red tape to get in, but I think once you're in, you're in.
You're
Yeah.
in.
So like,
Yeah.
you know how many friends do you have across the paddock? Like, every time I was like seeing
Yeah.
you with someone different, like who's this person now?
Do you know what?
Like,
I'm
who's-
surprised like not everyone's chipped. Like once you're a part of the paddock family, I'm surprised they don't put like a little like micro thing in your
Where
wrist.
are the
or something.
boys? Where are they? Who are they talking to
To be
now?
fair, that's what we thought the guy from the FIA was.
Yeah, he's keeping
That geezer
trackers
from
on
the
us.
FIA that we see every day, like every minute, the
Yeah.
same guy. And he's
Every
always
race that
like,
we've been to, he's
He's always
always
like,
checking
how
up
did you
on
get
us.
here? How have you got here? Oh, for God's sake, how have you got here now?
But like in a serious way, or like?
No, he's joking.
Okay,
he's
okay.
a little
joking.
legend.
Okay. Alright.
It's quite funny though, making friends throughout the paddock. Everyone just knows
They're
everyone.
a
You know
wicked
everyone
bunch.
as well.
Not yet. I'm getting there.
You've been on a
I've
career
been.
path.
Do you know what? I've been through so many teams now. I feel like I just like.
Oh, you're a paddock
I'm
slut like us.
Yeah, yes. I'm just gonna get through them all. I'm just gonna go from one end to the other.
Well, why don't we start with like where you actually started? Like,
Yeah, go from the very
did you,
beginning.
how did you get into the sport?
God,
Like
okay.
uni, college, where did you? How did that all
So
happen?
I didn't. So it's so weird because I didn't do like anything motorsport related at uni. I did music journalism. So I went down the
cool.
music path, and started doing like attending festivals and events and stuff, which was wicked. I got to interview some like insane artists like Chance the Rapper and like
No,
like
really?
sick
Wow.
artists. And then started doing music photography. Like the photography alongside the journalism. So when like magazines would send me to an event, I would do all the photo coverage and do the interviews and stuff, or do like a write up, or this album's come out, like, you know, all the photos and stuff.
Did you do live shows as well? Like capture them? Or?
Yeah, everything. Like everything. So it was mostly live, in all fairness.
Right.
And then I ended up, as soon as I left uni, I ended up working for, or even before I left uni, I like approached this PR agency who were like working, they were covering like Relentless Energy, and Relentless Energy at the time was going through a transition of between Coca-Cola and Monster. This will make sense in a sec. But because of this transition, Relentless had to jump from action sports motorsports to music because they couldn't clash with Monster, which was action sports and motorsports and stuff like that. So Relentless went to the music scene, and they chose like UK urban music and electronic music.
Yeah.
And so they sponsored like Leeds Festival and a bunch of artists. They had a studio on Denmark Street, and then it just had like a bunch of artists and stuff come through. And I ended up going to do an interview with Zane Lowe and Hugh Stevens, and I think
Hugh Stevens, I know Hugh. Yeah.
And one of the guys from Biffy Clyro was there, but I don't remember his name. So I went to go do this event.
Some Scottish bloke.
Exactly. So I went to go do this. And at the event, the people who were organizing this event were this PR agency. And they ended up just got chatting to them. I was like, look, have you guys got any roles available? I'm just about to graduate uni. And they were like, actually, we're looking for an intern. So I went on, did an intern. They were like, can you start next week? They were literally next week. So it was like the Thursday was this event where we were doing the interviews. And the Monday was the Monday I started. So we ended up doing a bunch of stuff with Relentless. And then because of this whole transition, Relentless went in-house into Monster. So I was doing a bunch of music stuff through Relentless. It was mostly through their studio, like shooting with like AJ Tracy and novelists, all like grime, mostly grime.
Some serious people though.
Dude, insane.
Didn't realize
and but all the electronic side was like, because they had the festival at Leeds, so they had like I can't remember the names now. Deadmau5 played that stage, DJ Fresh,
Alexis Kings, or maybe.
You need Fabs Man there.
They were on the smaller stage.
But there was a bunch of artists, right? I can't remember them all. But I ended up just like saying like there was a role available on the Monster side, and I was like, look, the action sports, motorsports side is sort of more my vibe. I love music, don't get me wrong, but this is sort of where I want to be. And so I jumped over to the Monster side and then managed their entire UK, Ireland channels, content for all their like 52 events over like the period of like the summer period. Did all of that for 2 years, I think. And then the second year I was like, do you know what, I need to progress. I need to try and do something different because it's kind of like the same thing over and over. So then I ended up jumping from there, and I worked at Atlantic Records. So I went back into music.
Oh, wow.
Under Warner. So I was there for God, I don't even know, under two. It must have been like 2 years, maybe just under. Worked across. It was like 21 artists was on my personal roster. So doing like when you get like music videos that come through, you chop them up and make little edits and stuff for their social channels. I didn't manage all of their channels.
Man,
but just
I
some
did
of them.
not know you did.
Yeah,
all
this
this.
is crazy.
This is
Because it's
unreal.
such different worlds, right? So like, so I did like Anne Marie, did Jess Glynn, Birdie.
Come on, skin it up.
Exactly.
Just let me in.
Exactly. Oh, that one.
Yeah.
I did Stormzy's. So Stormzy's latest album before he went quiet on socials. I worked across that one.
Do you know Mabdul then? Because of course you know Mabdul.
So
but
I know Mabdul now, but I didn't know him when I was at Atlantic.
Right.
Yeah, weirdly our paths never really crossed because I didn't go to all of the music shoots and stuff like that. So
well, he worked with I think he went on tour with Stormzy.
yeah, it's a small world, man.
Yeah,
it's insane. But like there's a lot of that. So anyways, I jumped from this to what happened after this. I think the Lewis thing. So I ended up working with Lewis Hamilton. So after Stormzy's album, I was like out the door after a month. So I was like, okay, I've done like a bunch of projects now. I've got so much on my record, my portfolio. So like, what's next? What else can I do? Someone from Lewis's team approached me because the link there originally when I said it was because Monster obviously sponsored Lewis and they have their personal. They had their personal contract, whether they do or not anymore, I don't know. So Lewis has his own Monster Energy can, and so someone at Monster talked to Lewis's team or Lewis's old manager and was like, "There's a guy here if you're looking for a social media manager," or I think it was the other way around, like, "We're looking for someone. Do you know anyone?" And then my name was brought up, and then I think it was like a 3-stage interview, got through. And then it was like months. It took ages. I was like, yeah, this might not happen. And then they were like, got the call, like, yeah, you got the job. Do you want to come? And your final round is doing like a personality test with Lewis. Went to go meet him, did this personality test.
Oh
Just
shit,
like,
that's fucking stressful.
dude, I was stressing.
What does a personality test look like with Lewis Hamilton?
Well, it's just like we're doing now. So just like meet up, ask each other questions. Just because the idea was that I was going to be on the road with him, doing all this content and stuff like that. And then COVID hit, obviously. But anyway, so this is that. I'm jumping the gun a bit, but so that happened. Was doing everything like sort of fashion related, all the track stuff. And then because it was like the first year that it happened, I was in Australia, and Australia was when they were like, okay, COVID's happening, guys.
Yeah.
Like, take it seriously. And then the race got called off. And so I think teams across the paddock then were like reduced to like the absolute bare minimum. Who needs to make that car run and get the points and like obviously make the social channels run, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And because my role at that time wasn't considered like high priority, it isn't. Nothing I do would make the car run. They were like, you just got to stay home, just do the general coverage, and people will feed you content, and that was it. So I was like, wow, this sucks.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was there, and I'm like, I did all this like stuff for like 3 or 4, maybe I can't remember the timing, but yeah, a couple of months, anyways. And then it was like,
Right on the cusp of it, and it gets whisked away.
Exactly. Yeah. So after that, I stayed. I'd stayed for a while, and I ended up doing like a bunch of stuff. Anyways, it was all good. It was all really fun things to look back on. But yeah, I was just decided, look, I need to be more hands on. You know, I need to like actually do what I was hired to do.
Yeah.
And then the McLaren role.
What? You went to McLaren?
So I was at McLaren all of
This
last
is
year.
just like the story is nuts.
But it was like doing freelance in between. So I was doing like photo shoots of like Formula E, which is Formula E and stuff, which is like right around the corner.
Yeah.
And like, so I saw the signs were coming out.
We went to it. They had a
Literally
nice
next door,
bar.
yeah.
It's insane. So yeah, I ended up working with a few teams in Formula E now, just doing content creation and stuff. And then some stuff with like 2 wheels as well. It's like working with brands and just like, it's been insane. So I did McLaren last year. And then towards the end, I was like, I want a bit more. I need that step up again. I want to be trackside. And then the role with Alpha popped up, and they were like, we need someone who can do everything.
Yeah.
And
I'm your man.
And that's what you wanted. You wanted to get hands on. Yeah.
Do you know what? It's the more I meet people like you, and you in particular, the more I get fascinated with like how you people work. Like, it's very easy to assume that you're a photographer and then you just found this opportunity, right?
Yeah.
But after hearing your stories, you realize like the graph that you've been in and the stages that you've been in. But you've been working at like a high level.
Yeah.
Like, this whole journey. It's not as if you've been doing like
no, never.
a load of
There's
shit.
never been a break. So like even like there was so many like torn up decisions as well, because they are contrasting industries, the music and the motorsport world. If you go down one, you kind of shut off the other. And so whilst I still have that passion for like music and doing all these live events, going to festivals and whatnot, because it's insane. It's an insane time that happens in such a short space of, like, for instance, when I did that, like the albums and stuff at Atlantic, it's such like at the time, it's like, this is huge. Like, it's massive. But then you leave that bubble and you're like, actually, this wasn't as big as I thought it was.
Yeah.
So that's why every time I leave, I'm like, oh, what's next? What's the next thing? But I'm stoked now, because like, this is what I wanted to do. This trackside role was what I was supposed to do with Lewis before all the COVID stuff happened and whatnot.
Right.
So, yeah.
Seems like a pretty cool
happy.
job. We just see you scooting around
wicked.
everywhere with a camera.
Do you know what?
taking
You came
photos.
to an event where we had the scooters, right? Like, that's done now. There's no more scooters.
No, really?
They've been
they're done
banned?
for. Well, they're actually not allowed in the paddock. So I found this out at the last race. Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it funny how they've been banned the
right?
week
Because of
after
my
we
fucking
posted
tail
those?
You
whips.
guys show up. look at these boys.
That is
This
so
is what
jokes.
this is what did it.
They ban
I
it the
love
week
that.
we go on.
Stood up with the F1 in the background. That was so
That's why I
sick.
chose this one.
Yeah,
because
that
the other
photo's
ones where I was like,
amazing.
nah, this is a bit more VIP access and whatnot.
Do you know, we'll have exclusive access to the scooters, I reckon, next
reckon?
year. Yeah, and
Do you know what,
Shy's
though?
going to be our plus one.
The drivers, like, they can do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they can do whatever
So
they
is
want.
everybody else supposed to just run after them? I don't.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a bit weird. I don't know. Anyway.
They had a load of bikes, didn't they, in Zandvoort?
Yeah,
They did-
Toto
yeah,
was
yeah.
on a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was loads of bikes, loads of scooters. But I think it's it was it was a weird setup though, the paddock there. So like you kind of need something to get from one side to the other.
Because they were separate, right?
You know, especially in this role, you are running all the time. You know, on your feet.
Yeah, you
'cause
were always between.
back and forth, because you're in the garage shooting, filming, and then you're running back to edit and post. Because like, it's like the teams are competing, right? They're competing on track, but it's nowadays they're competing off track.
Yeah, man.
It's and through social media, you know, like the other day or very recently, maybe yesterday even, I think the Mercedes boys hit 10 million on Instagram, and all the people working in there were like posting on LinkedIn and stuff. And then you see the guys at McLaren like, oh, we missed out, because there's competition there. You know?
For
Like,
sure. The social teams want to be better than the
that's
other
it.
social teams.
That's
Exactly
it.
the same.
They you have to one up each other and stuff. So if you can't be like, I don't have a massive team, it's just me running the show there. But like, you know, if
Just you.
And you well and truly are running the show.
it's hard, man. Like all the photography, filming, like we'll do like partner content and stuff. Like it's all, yeah. But
It's what you wanted to do, hands on. Like you want to be a big part of it.
Exactly. I'm stoked to be able to do it. Honestly, I'm really. I love this job. The team are insane. They're great, and the drivers are great. Yeah, it's nonstop. It's just go.
I was going to ask that. How do you find it? How do you find like being away for so much? You said you got a girlfriend at home.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's not easy. Yeah, I was listening to like even F1 Mex podcast, and he was saying the same thing. Like he's got a kid as well, I think. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard, man. Like people genuinely, they've got like full families sitting back home, and you're doing double, triple head. Like the one we've just done was a triple, and like it's hard, dude, because you miss out on so much. Like all your friends are going out doing stuff, and you get major FOMO. But at the same time, you're like, do you know what? This is what I signed up for.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the absolute best I can, and then you know, yeah, it's not easy, but I'm doing what I love, and that's it. So
It's a great job, I think.
it's great, dude.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. It's don't get me wrong. It is hard. Like it is physically, mentally, whatever, exhausting, but it's so rewarding at the same time to see that you've been part of this this story almost, you know, for this year, anyways. Yeah, I'm stoked with it, dude.
And we got more races next year, assuming you're still going to be around
24.
next year, or you're going to
Yeah.
slut off to another team next year.
Well. I need to tick off the rest of the paddock. You know?
Pitstop F4 team.
That
come
needs to
back to Pitstop
happen.
when we
That
have
needs
a
to
team.
happen. That definitely needs to
It will
happen.
happen. It will
That's a
happen.
plan. We definitely will look
We
into
can
that.
we can start recruiting all these people that we have on. Callum's going to be
Mate,
the mechanic. Shai's going to be on
Imagine
camera.
we actually
You got a
did
team
that.
here. You got drivers already. You got.
So true.
I know,
isn't
we
it?
actually have.
You didn't get a team principal.
Oh, that'd be us. We're going to be shared team principals.
right.
Oh, no.
What else do you need?
One of
Jake-
us has got to be the
Jake's-
race engineer.
Who's going to be HR?
What's that?
HR? Huh? What?
I'm going
that-
to be second driver. So
Oh, okay.
and he's going to be race engineer and team
Right.
boss at the same
And
time.
first driver's just
That's a lot of work.
like Zach
yeah.
Brown.
Yeah, I'll keep everything under
Oh,
control.
shit,
Don't worry about me.
He's got it on lock.
Yeah, Zandvoort was amazing for us, but I'm curious to know, like, because I remember texting you and you were like, yeah, I'm getting pictures with the drivers, and you were doing all that stuff. So what day did you get there, and what does your weekend look like? Like, so what are your requirements? And
Yeah, so depends on the race, because like the flyaways we get there earlier just so the team can like acclimatize and stuff to said location. But like usually these short haul ones, we get there on the Wednesday, and then there's a bit of work to do and set up and stuff for like most of the team. But our work like just hits Thursday morning, because the media days are now moved. So I think last year they were on the Wednesday, or they were on. Actually, don't know.
It was Wednesday. It
was Wednesday,
wasn't
right?
it? Yeah, it was Wednesday in Zandvoort.
So basically
Why
everything's
was that?
shifted. So the Thursdays now are like media days. Don't take my word for that. But basically for us, anyways, we get there Thursday morning.
Welcome
You
to
fit in well, bro.
Pitstop
You fit in well.
Podcast. I don't even know what day I'm at work.
He's one of us.
Oh, you boys are still delirious, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, we get there on the Thursday. It's a bunch of media duties, doing all the filming content and stuff like partners and internal messages and stuff. And then you do your track walks, and then Friday is when the actual weekend sort of happens and kicks off. So straight into FP1, FP2. Could be a sprint race on the Saturday or quali, and then it's race on Sunday. So it's Thursdays are usually insane because you're it's like a bunch of like obligations and media duties.
Are you
especially for
literally
the
just
drivers.
getting WhatsApp by someone being like, the drivers are here, come get photos of them? Like, how does it work there? Do you
So-
just follow them around?
Usually, I mean, it's sort of like free reign. It's the good thing about F1 is that you can be very they sort of leave you to your creative devices, right? So there's no set way to do it, and you don't want to do the same thing every race. I don't want to do the same thing every race. So yeah, it's basically like you just get there, see what's cool, what's great about the location, or if there's anything fun happening that week, or if the drivers have special helmets they're launching, or anything that might be happening. You're like, okay, how do we tell this story? How do we deliver this on our platforms?
And is it down to you to keep your finger on the pulse with that stuff, so you know what's happening?
Yeah.
This is happening this week. Let's film
So
that.
there's like there'll be meetings like weeks or that week or weeks in advance to say, okay, this is happening next week. What's the plan for this? How do we go about launching this or announcing this or doing it, like whatever it might be. There's so much planning that goes involved. But also at the same time, there's the total opposite where you just get thrown stuff all the time, and you just have to be quick on your feet, you know, like and you're sort of left to like, if your equipment doesn't keep up with you as well, because I've had that as well. Like
Have you had any disasters?
yeah, well, not like terrible, but like cameras overheating and stuff. And you're like, in the
Yeah.
moment,
No,
you're
that
like, you're
happens to us
about
all
to
the
That
time.
even
film.
happens sometimes when we're filming here.
Dude,
Yeah.
it sucks, right? Because like you're given such short windows in F1. Like you're given such limited time to do. So like not limited time with the drivers per se, but like more so limited time to get this activation or whatever, this piece of thing done. And so sometimes I've been in situations where like, you know, I'm just about to film something and they've got to run or catch a flight or something. And it's like, right, this isn't working. What do we do? And so I'm waiting there. I'm leaving the camera off, just hoping like, okay, you ready? Okay, cool. Just let me check something. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. Right, switch on. It works. Okay, right. So in my head, I'm like screaming. The light bulb's going off, but there's nothing. You got to keep straight faced. It's all professional.
Yeah.
We had that with VB and Joe. Our interface
No.
blew up.
Oh yeah,
No.
we get
Yeah.
there. The interface. This is a new one. We just had to go
Bought that
buy it
yesterday.
yesterday for this.
This is brand new for you. You're the first guest to be
Oh,
using this
man.
box.
The
So
whole thing
I'm on
blew
it.
up.
That sucks though.
plugged it in, fireworks, and I smelt it. It was completely burnt. Yeah, it's fucked. Luckily,
Imagine-
we had a Zoom recorder with us.
Bro, imagine if you guys went all that way and like,
To be fair, we genuinely would have used like the camera audio. I think we would have used the
I
camera.
would
no,
have
it's true.
cried.
It's true. But like,
I would have cried myself to sleep.
This
every
guy
time.
was so defeated, honestly. And then to make it even worse, he gets pulled over by the police on the way home.
no, really?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
for?
Just driving at the speed limit, obviously.
Yeah.
One of those. Yeah.
Yeah, they just wanted to say hello. I
They were
think
telling me to
listened to the
drop-
podcast.
telling me to drive
Love your
faster.
podcast.
Yeah.
Drive safe.
Can we have 90 quid? That's what I said.
Stay awake. Have a Red Bull.
Oh, it's such a
Oh,
crazy
man.
joke.
I wanted to ask you, what's your relationship like with the actual drivers themselves? Because when we were in Zandvoort, you introduced us to Valtteri,
Yeah.
which is cool. But like, how closely do you work with them?
Oh, really close. Because social media is like everything, right?
Yeah.
At the moment, anyways. Not just for F1, for the drivers themselves. So, you know, they're always keen to listen into conversations or be part of conversations when it comes to content. You know, so at the end of the day, they'll be like, who's getting them assets? Like, how do we get them photos from the day and stuff like that? So usually it's just, you know, we just message them like just directly, just to figure out, okay, here's a bunch of the best assets from today, or here's some video content, or here's something that we posted that you might be interested in sharing. So it is, I mean, you spend so much time with them. It's like every race,
Yeah.
you know, so, and then I've done like the Montreal trip was insane because I don't know how I managed to get on this trip, but we got a helicopter, and it was like this car park in the middle of nowhere in America, like the America side. No, sorry, the Montreal side, and it's a random car park of this dealership, and this helicopter's in the car park. And I'm like, this is weird, man. So me, Valtteri, Tiffany, there's a few of us actually. We went for like a day out with one of the partners, and the video's posted on the Alpha channel, so you can probably watch it.
Cool.
But jump in this helicopter, fly over to States, US side, and then do this activation at this like farm. It's like this this whiskey farm. It's wicked. It's unbelievable.
So,
But the point I'm trying to make is that you spend time doing all these fun things with these guys, and like it's fun for them as much as it is for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
end
yeah.
up building these relationships with them, and just like, yeah, obviously all professional and to the point, no messing about, and I wouldn't probably have the same conversation we have and stuff, but
Do you go out for dinner and have drinks and stuff, or?
I've done like drinks with a few drivers, not all of them that I've worked with. I mean, but yeah, like you see them after, because like I think most events, most Sundays after the race, they're all out at like a club. You'll see like F1 drivers, F2 drivers, F3 drivers.
Yeah.
They're all there.
Know.
Yep, exactly. Like it's brilliant, and it's like they're all there having an insane time, and it's like sort of like more of a bonding thing. Have fun, release, no phones, that sort of thing. Like it's not a rule, but it's kind of like a respect thing,
Of course,
just like
yeah.
have fun and just keep everything off socials that night. Just enjoy it, So
You don't want to be that guy who like leaks the photo.
dude, I've seen it happen before, man. I've seen it happen before.
Really?
Yeah, because like you could probably search it now, like Toto Wolff drunk or Max Verstappen drunk, and as soon as you see, there's so many people like phone cameras, and they're just like ruining it, because that's the time to like be part of the team, and
It's a personal time, yeah.
That's it.
It's the time when you're away from the cameras. Like,
exactly
don't
it.
fucking film it,
Exactly,
man.
don't do
Yeah.
it. Just put your phone down. Just enjoy the moment. Not everything needs to be on caught on camera.
True.
I can imagine
Yeah.
Joe absolutely loves your photos because he's into his fashion at the moment, isn't he? So he
Loves
wants to
it.
show off all his looks.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
brilliant.
So do you take most of the photos he posts? Because
Yeah.
I saw you also put Valtteri posted
Yeah.
one of him on a bike.
Yeah,
tagged
And
you.
you took that.
Yeah.
So
That
did
was-
you have to go somewhere to take that?
It wasn't far. That was on the track. It's like the old part of Monza. It's an insane. It's like this insane vertical banking on the track. So we walked there. Oh well, he cycled there. Actually, that was annoying because we ended up trying to get there, but they
You
fenced
just
it
running
all off.
behind him on the bike.
Man, no, I wasn't. I had to like
On a
it
scooter.
was such a weird journey to try and get there. All these tracks are like some of them are really unique, where they've got like unique aspects and stuff you can get to. This one was like you have to like we went to that fence, which was like a 15-minute walk to get to this fence, and there's like a fence. We didn't know there was a fence. There was a fence, so you can't get past. So you're like, right, fuck, how do we get around? So then we go all the way back through the paddock, all the way around. It was like a half an hour, and he was waiting there, just cycling up and down, up and down.
So is that like Valtteri saying, I'm going to go cycle the track, and you're like, cool, I'll come get some snaps? Or is it Valtteri saying, I want you to get some sick pics for the ground?
A bit of both. Like that time, he was just like, I'm going to this part of the track. So it was like, cool, right, let's get some photos. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a joint thing. Like I know I'm there to do a job. So if the boys need anything, I'm there on hand to film anything they might, or photograph anything they might need.
So do you directly post as well on their pages, or like do you just send them the photos?
Just on the Alpha channels.
Cool.
Yeah. And then
So-
just like not Instagram, like airdrop them or iMessage them photos and stuff.
You were airdropping
kind of like
us.
what I was doing with you guys.
You were airdropping us pictures
But
every
it's so-
day.
exactly like that.
Yeah.
Exactly
I
like
love the
that.
way you took him, and then we just see you up in the corner of the motorhome. You're on your laptop, or whatever. You just edit it away, and then he comes back out all these photos.
You were in this like private room which we couldn't get into,
didn't even
and there
know
was
there was
like
a room there.
Yeah, it was like frosted glass, and all I could see was your silhouette. Like
Editing away like this.
epic.
The outline of me and my cap.
I know you said you wanted to work in motorsports when you left that job earlier on.
Yeah.
But are you actually like a petrol head? Like, do you love the race, the motorsport?
100%. Yeah, I have been watching Formula One for a very long time, but I was always into both 2 and 4-wheel motorsports. So like, yeah, anything with an engine, I was just like hooked on. Because like, in fact, before I went to uni, I was working at BMW as a mechanic, just like for like it was a very it was part of a course. So whilst I was doing it was like alongside my GCSEs and stuff.
Oh, well, is it like an internship almost?
That's what Jake Smith
This
did.
is what our friend Jake Smith did out
Yeah.
of school. And you start on like a really low wage, and then when you leave, they offer you like another world.
So kind of, but like mine was purely just for this course. So it was like a mechanic course, and then you had to do like a placement as part of it. So I still got paid, but yeah, I ended up being a mechanic for like a couple of months, and like I don't know, man. I was like anything to do with an engine, I was like I'm there for it. Anything hands on, I was like, because if I wasn't doing the more creative, like I guess it is kind of hands on. Like instead of working on engines, I'm just working with cameras and different types of equipment, I guess. But yeah, just a different aspect to it. But I love it now because now I get to photograph the things that I love seeing, all the cars and the people, and because like even you guys walk through the grid, right, with all these celebrities.
Oh my
And like
God.
you went to a race where there wasn't even that many celebrities. Like imagine
Yeah.
what Miami was like, and you
I
got
bet it was
Pharrell
mad,
and
man.
like
So
all these
are you snapping anyone that you can find?
But yeah, for me, not really for like,
Yeah, for your own.
Yeah, just
not
for
for
me.
Alpha,
I was like,
but,
this
yeah.
is sick. Obviously, when like Keanu Reeves was there, I was like, oh man, this is
That's
the Matrix.
badass.
That
I
is
remember
sick.
your text come through, guys. I've got you grid tickets. We were sat outside. I don't even know if we told the story, but we were sat on the Heineken bar, weren't we, having a drink?
Well, we thought we could only get one.
Yeah.
So me and Jake did like a spinny thing on his phone, and he won it.
It was like a
way.
random wheel,
And I was like,
whoever it
I was like,
landed on.
I'm fine. I don't need it. It's good. And then all of a sudden, one of the girls from Alfa Romeo walked
Yeah.
out and just linked arms with both of us, and
Love
we're like, off we go.
Oh man,
Fuck yeah.
I love that.
I was standing there and I
love
was thinking,
that.
like, this is too good to be true. Something's going to go wrong. Until I'm actually on that grid, I'm
Yeah.
not going to believe
I didn't
this.
believe it.
Man,
But
it
then
was-
we got on the
do you know what?
grid.
It came down to the wire though. Like it really did.
Yeah.
But I'm so stoked it worked out.
Were you on the grid? Yeah, you were on the grid with us.
Yeah.
That's mad because you're like on the grid, but then like you're also in the mix in the garages. Like cars are coming in and out,
Do you
and
know
you're
what?
just
It's-
darting
That's
around.
the hard part, I think, of being a content creator in F1 is always trying to find something new to shoot. Because if you think about it, every race you go to,
Here we are.
It's
There we go. We come to you.
Saving the career.
I saw your banner photo on YouTube. I saw it.
Yeah,
I saw it.
yeah, yeah. Because our banner before was rubbish, and we thought we'd use all your great snaps.
Mate, I like it. I really like it. But it's like it's stuff like this, right? How do we mix it up every single race? Because the garages are the same, the drivers are the same, the colors are the same, the clothing's the same. So unless you've got like a special helmet, what's different? How do you tell the story? So I think it's every team. Every team will like not suffer with that, but like struggle with those challenges of trying to tell different stories every single week in, week out. And it's 24 races next year, so we've got more trying to figure out more ways to promote and
We'll
push.
try and make it a bit easier next year.
Yeah,
I don't know what we can do.
I mean, I just want to, just
Anything.
my opinion, like, all you need is two amazing hosts in the paddock, like, to create content.
That
I'm
could
just
work.
saying.
I was
that
going to
could
ask,
work.
like, do you ever go in like the fan zone and connect anything? But I guess for
Sometimes.
Do you really?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it depends on what track, because some of them have been like insane. Like the fans are nuts. Like this is another problem too. Like all the races just blurred into one, so it's really hard for me to remember which one. But like
Zandvoort must have been nuts.
Zandvoort was nuts, but I don't know if that was the most crazy I've seen, because Monza was insane.
Of course, yeah.
Monza was mad. I'm just trying to think, because there's been like certain ones where like the fan zone is right next to the paddock, so you'd be able to like squeeze out, go in, see if there's anybody wearing an Alfa Romeo, anything, snap it, just try and show that fan love. Because we did that at McLaren as well. Like you just know the colors now, so you just spot that. Right, okay, right. That's the cap to look out for. That's the T.
We should have worn our hats, to be honest. They're on the literally
Set on
behind
the
us.
wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between the
They're
different F1 teams, do you notice, do they all work very differently? Like,
It's a really good question. No, they don't. It varies with like the size of the teams, but in terms of like the way in which they work, it's very, very, very similar. Very similar. Because there's not too much to change. Just the styles change. So like you might notice if you go onto McLaren's page after this and you see their Instagram, you'll see it's very very not colorful. It's colored very orange.
Yeah.
And you'll see that theme throughout. And so you might not be able to know that there's like multiple photographers or videographers, but they're just using the same
like
presets.
presets and
Right.
templates, yeah.
So that's what they do. You'll see like some teams like Mercedes will use like memes and stuff. So in terms of those little tiny differences, that's basically it. But aside that, it's very, very, very similar. Very similar.
So do you have to change your style depending on what team you're with? Because I know that you have like a preset that you go to and then you
Yeah.
might mix it up. But all your
Yeah.
photos, they do look the same, but
Yeah.
they're sick. Like they all look
I
amazing.
appreciate it. Well, so I haven't really changed too much. I think I'm more experienced now than I was when I was with Lewis, I think. So like, there was the first time working with an individual who...
Lewis was your first time.
Yeah, well, so I think so. So I obviously I was playing around with presets and stuff then, but like I think you'll find that different drivers have different styles, and you might not see it right off the bat, but they have particular styles that they like. Like some drivers will like their photos looking very grainy and dark, like Lewis. If you look back through like 13th Witness, who shoots most of his stuff now, you'll see like it's very grainy and it's all added on presets and stuff. You'll see other drivers are like a little bit more clean cut, no edits and stuff. Then you'll see some which are like totally over the top, like contrasty, like just giving random examples, but they all have different ways of working. So I feel like now I've got my presets and my style, And depending on the client, depending on who it is, I'll either tone it down or increase it.
Mm-hmm.
So, say for instance, recently I did a shoot with Royal Enfield, the motorbike company.
Yep.
And I kept that all in my style because I was like, they've hired me to do this project.
Was that recent? I think I saw you, you posted it. Yeah.
Just on the weekend.
Yeah, saw it.
So, so yeah, I'll go shoot everything that they need, but I'll keep it all in my style because it's unless they specify that they want something different. And with I think even now, if I were to go from, shooting for this team to a different team, I don't know, I'd probably keep the same presets and then mix it up if that was of request. The idea is that it's not just the teams that are like the brand that you are sort of molding and shaping and trying to keep this whole image. It's the drivers as well. The drivers have their own brand. They're marketed in the exact same way.
Such an important job, bro, because like with social media being so as big as it is now,
everything.
you are what people are seeing online is how you've edited it.
Yeah.
So they get an interpretation of that person, but it's also you as well.
It's all part of the story, right? So same thing, exactly that. Like, what's the brand and how are you promoting it? And sometimes it can be a person. This is the thing I've done throughout now. So like even at Atlantic, when I was working with specific artists, they have a brand. They are a brand. Like like Anne Marie or whatever the name is. Like they're a brand, and you're just promoting them in a different way or a different light to this brand, which is Alfa Romeo or Red Bull or whatever it might be. That's literally what it comes down to. It's just different ways of different brand identities per.
Love it.
Whether it's a person or a brand.
When did you first pick up a camera? Because I don't know why, but my opinion, like if someone like you walked in with a camera, I feel like you must love your camera. Like I love filming stuff, I love taking photos, but like I don't love taking photos that much. I'd rather people took them of me. But like, when did you pick up a camera?
I got given my first film camera when I was 16. I think it was like my dad's camera when he was at uni. So I got handed that, and I think since then I like absolutely just. I loved it for the memory aspect. So, and I still do. That part hasn't changed. I'll like shoot for the sake of looking back on this one day.
Yep.
Less so for like, oh, this is cool. Like, because I also like living in the moment. So there are times where I just won't have, a camera at all. I'll just take my phone or whatever. But I love it for the memory aspect. So that entire time I've just like sort of learned and developed and picked up like, I had a really shitty first camera because you go for the cheap shit first. You can't afford anything more. And then you just sort of build and build and build. There's always the next step up. And now it's so expensive, like stupidly expensive. Like most of the photographers that you'll see in the paddock, I think at a minimum, they would have spent, the kit that they'd be carrying is probably about 10 grand.
Wow.
Which is insane.
Yeah, I know.
Lenses, memory cards, hard drives, SSD, like, and you think about the amount of races we have and all the content we film and shoot all saved, and how do we save all this stuff? So it's all done on SSDs. And
are you happy to share what you use? Because there's probably a few photographers and people out there who listen to this who'd
100%.
like to know.
So I'm probably the worst person to ask this because I keep chopping and changing.
Right.
But the kit I have now is a Canon. I should have brought it with me, actually. That would have been better. But I've got a Canon R5. And then I've got 3 lenses. So I've got the 15-35, which is like the really wide angle.
Yep, for bird watching.
So you film, basically, if I was to do an interview with you guys now, I'd use that wide one. Then I've got the 24-70, which is pretty much what I use everything else for. So like the photography and everything in the garage and out and about outside the garage too. And then the 70-200, which is purely for shooting track stuff.
What brand are they, the lenses?
All Canon.
All Canon?
All Canon, currently. So like, yeah, this is why I'm the worst person to ask, because I've shot, last year I was all Sony. And I was on different body Sony before that. So I've switched all the time. I switch. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm tempted to switch back as well. So
do you have to buy your own camera gear?
So I have personally. It's a lot, but I have.
But like, would the team like give you budget for camera gear, or does your job like mean you'd have to go into a row and be like, this is what
I imagine them like having like, oh, we've got a few cameras you could use. And you go in there and it's like a fucking one of those like disposable.
That's a fucking Polaroid.
Nah, do you know what? I've never really. I prefer using my own equipment. I know how it works. I can keep it. If I drop it, I won't feel as bad. Just
felt pretty bad about that one over there.
More so because I left glass all over your floor and you were in socks.
Well, we could put a shout out to Canon or Sony if anyone's listening and you want to give a load of equipment to.
Yeah, do it, please. I will be much appreciated.
Yeah, there'll be
of
the
that.
photos
And us
to
too.
the official Alpha Romeo account. But you got a chance here, guys. Send some stuff.
That's it.
That'd be
Honestly,
wicked.
ever since we've been doing this, I've been reaching out to every single brand. Like,
Man,
we need this.
Do you know what? It's
we need
worth
that.
it. It's so worth it. I feel like you boys could definitely get you should definitely have Heineken here.
I know.
You just need more brand partners on this thing.
I actually
You've got
did a
loads of
meeting
wall
with Heineken.
space. Just fill them up.
I did a meeting with Heineken the other day, not long ago. I went into the offices and did a talk
No
in front
way.
of them. So, I'm trying to get
trying to
Heineken
swim
on
them.
side.
Come on. Get it. Get it.
There's a load of people we're trying to get on side.
Do you know what? There is room for stuff in the background, but we want people like you bring in these amazing gifts.
No, I'm stoked, man. I'm stoked. I was so worried this wouldn't come in time because I was like, if it wasn't going to come this week, I'm away now for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
When do you head off?
Monday. So this is so for the flyaways, you tend to go much earlier in the week. So Monday, get there on Tuesday afternoon, and sort of hit the ground running Wednesday because you're kind of there on time now. So how do you? Because what I tend to do when I went to like Montreal, I'll go about the town and showcase the town. Like, where are we? Like Montreal.
It's all content, right?
Yeah, man. Everything's content. And,
that's so
and fans
fucking
love
cool,
being
bro.
closer to this sport, So like whether it's a podcast they can find, whether it's like content, anything that they can use to get closer to the sport, they will eat it up. They will absolutely eat it up. That's just why Netflix has done so well.
I know, man. You must have seen the change of Netflix because you worked in the sport.
Totally. And like those guys they chop and change their storylines all the time. It's
Wow.
insane because there's so much that's happened this
Well,
year.
bro, when we first watched it, we didn't know anything about Formula One, but we started watching season 1 again.
Yeah.
and you
So now it makes sense.
can see how there's a scene where there's Christian Horner.
Yeah.
Forget the guy's name now. He used to run Renault.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about.
And
Adam
they're
Siegel.
And Adam Siegel, and they're creating.
Yeah, that works.
They're creating this storyline between them, and
Yeah.
really they're just stood there, but
Exactly.
they put like tense music over it, and
Exactly
it's
that.
like,
It's they're just dramatizing it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the effect of that is that there's this whole range of new fans that have come into this sport, and yeah, they're eating up like you wouldn't imagine. So like, you're not wearing any like your merch, but like if you were to do a merch range, they would take it, they would eat it up.
fucking there's works going on next door, bro. They've literally just
It's all
knocked down
there.
the car park.
Sorry, man.
and now
I
they're-
just had to
that's
shut the
fine.
door. It wakes
They're
me up
building a block
every
of flats,
morning.
bro.
Really?
8 o'clock on the dot. You just hear.
I actually,
are in
I
that
actually
area,
sleep
though.
through it.
You sleep through it.
do go
But I
through it,
sleep
yeah.
with my window wide open.
I sleep with the door open. You know, like a baby when like having a Hoover on makes him go to sleep.
Yeah.
I can just fall asleep to like.
I wish I was like that. I really wish I was like
It
that.
makes me so mad.
Do you sleep well on planes?
I can't sleep on a plane at all, man.
Really?
Unless that's why I want to go first class everywhere, so I can actually like. Do you know what I mean?
This guy.
This fucking guy.
This
No,
guy.
but when I'm sat, also, I can't eat food with a plastic knife and fork. Like, I need to have proper
You're
cutlery.
far too bougie. You're far too bougie. Come on, man.
No,
Come
I just can't sleep sitting up. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I feel you.
I have to have like a load of wine or beer.
Tell you
or
what
something.
helps is the white noise. I find I sleep really well on planes because of the white noise, the noise of the plane.
Yeah, I sleep with a fan on just to keep me going.
Yeah.
I do that too every night without fail. I
Yeah.
can be freezing. It can be the dead of winter.
Yeah.
Fan on.
We both got two like 60 quid fans in it. A pucker as well.
Yeah, I love it. I really wanted to ask you, because we've had it in from other fans. They've said, like, what advice would you give to random people that want to work in motorsport? Like, I know there's so many roles, and I know it's a
Yeah.
generic question because there's for every single role it's different. But like, say for your job,
Yeah.
like if someone was listening and like they think, oh, I love taking photos, or I love social media,
Yeah.
or what do you think would be like the best way in, or the best way to do it?
With my role specifically,
Yeah, for any role, I guess. Just
I think for my role specifically, I'd say pick up a camera and shoot lower division races. And like I mean, if you can shoot, if you can get accredited, fantastic. If you can't, shoot from the grandstands, because like a lot of the content that I shoot is from the grandstand. Like, all the track stuff I shoot is from the grandstands. Like,
Wow.
because I don't have the same access that the track photographers get. So I'm just trying to find like new ways to do that. But like, it doesn't have to be F1 either. Like, I was shooting rallycross and fuck, what else was there, man? All these drift events at like Silverstone and going to like car meetups and stuff. Just anything I could shoot that was related to what I'm doing, I would be there. And then alongside that, try and focus on brand first. So just purely from a photography perspective, if you can like pick up a really, if you have a nice watch or you're going to a festival and you see a brand like Heineken there, and they have a Heineken bar pop up. Shoot the entire bar, shoot everything in a really stylistic way. So you've got a portfolio now of things that you can then present to, not to Heineken, but to other brands who are smaller, who can be like, hey, this is my day rate. Here's something I can create for you guys. Would you be up for it? Because I ended up picking up festival shoots for drink brands and stuff, like all for money, but at the same time, it was all adding to my portfolio. Brand, because that's where the money is, and that's what gets you into these events.
That's definitely the right mindset, and that's definitely how I think like the media and social world works, because everyone's still learning so quick. So like doing that and going to a festival and shooting everything, or creating content and then going, look what I've done, I can do that for you next week.
Exactly.
It's probably more valuable than scouring Indeed and looking for a fucking job and applying 100%. For thousands of people.
But you see, people ask, like, I get asked this all the time, should I go to uni for this? I'm like, absolutely not. Do not do it, because hands-on experience is everything.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen people make full-on Monster Energy commercials in their bedroom, and they send us videos, and we're like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Yeah, because they want a job.
Yeah.
Like that stuff's how you do it, in my opinion. Like it's all
Absolutely.
who you know, and it's what you show what you can do.
Exactly.
Like it's so much quicker than
People have done it to us, bro. I mean,
Really?
we're in a position where like we both work on this, so at the moment we don't really need any help with it.
Yeah.
But we've had people like DM us, like they've done photos of us, or they've edited videos of us
Love
together
that.
and stuff.
Love
and like
that.
fair play to you guys
Yeah.
if you are listening. Thanks. We don't need you at the moment, but thanks for
Don't
sending
get
the
me
stuff.
wrong, at one point, hopefully we will need a team, but like
Yeah.
we're full time in this. Fab's quit his job, like we just spend all day editing.
I love that.
But like people
You guys are
doing it to
churning
us.
out content though. It's sick. I
We
love
churn
it.
out
and the
serious
numbers are
content.
insane.
Yeah, it's 3 podcasts this week.
Bloody
3
hell,
YouTube
man.
vids. I mean, it literally was like 2 weeks ago we're filming the pod and we were going, guys, get us to like 5,000 YouTube
Wow.
subs. And like now we're coming up to 30k. So like
Yeah.
that
Wow.
YouTube
Blown.
sub jump's been pretty crazy.
Man.
Thanks to you,
You
my
guys are
friend.
smashing it,
Thanks to
man.
you.
You guys are on it. I'm so stoked for you, boys.
We're gonna buy you a
Honestly.
fucking car or something. Honestly, bro.
I'm not going to say no to that.
We said when we got money, we're gonna buy Shy this like a Lamborghini or something.
I honestly, I'm so stoked that you guys have done what you've done. I think it's only gonna get bigger now too, without a doubt. It's only gonna grow. So just keep at it. Like you guys are genuinely smashing it.
We just take it sort of one step at a time, don't we? I try not to get it like in my
Yeah.
head too much. Like me and Jake, we said this on last night's pod. We want to do we want to interview each other
Love
at
that.
the end of the year.
Love
but like
that.
I was like, I couldn't do it now because I'm still in the mix.
Yeah.
Like I need to wait for this year to be done for me to then look back and be like, shit, we've done that.
But how is it for you boys when you rock up to? Because remember when I met you at the gate and I handed you the passes, and then when you're walking through, people are like, oh, it's pit stop. Like that's sick. That's so cool.
That's kind of the first. Well, we had it at Silverstone a little bit. But
Yeah.
like Zandvoort was the first time that we've actually noticed it, I
Yeah.
guess. Because in Silverstone we were just in the fan zone, so like,
Right.
there was kids coming up and
Insane.
saying hello and that. But it's weird, man. It's
I
weird.
noticed over the weekend how quickly content spreaded, because obviously Friday, Saturday, Sunday we started posting loads of stuff from there, and
Yeah.
everyone was then aware we're there, and like we were doing cool stuff, posting photos. Like Brad was posting pictures of us, Michael was posting pictures of us, so that when we came out on Sunday, loads of people knew who we
yeah.
were, and it was really crazy. And like we even noticed loads of our numbers went up.
Wow.
Everyone was really excited, and it just shows everyone at that Formula One race,
Yep.
other than watching the race, all their
They're
eyes
all
on social.
Yeah.
Is
Always.
and that's
Always
why
on.
it's so important.
But this is another thing. You know how like teams are like always updating their Twitters to like what's happening live on track.
Yeah.
They're always doing it. No matter what team it is, they're all updating what's happening because people are paying attention to that.
Yeah.
You know, they'll watch it on TV. They'll obviously follow the commentary, but they want to know what their favorite team like. What's happening? Because that's where you're going to see it first. You know, on TV you'll see the crashes and the accidents and stuff, but then socials where you'll figure out what's actually happening. Are the drivers okay? And just to give you an example, but it's like. They're always on. People are always on social media, and that's what it is now. It's just content. How do you keep feeding this audience?
We spoke to Joe about his crash in the pod, which was like really crazy to talk to him because it's the first time we'd ever seen anything like that. Thank God he's all right. Like he says about it now, it doesn't even bother him. Like he's pushed past it completely.
Yeah.
But where were you at that point?
I was in the
time?
garage.
And what was it like?
Oh, man, it was stressful. I think it was the most stress I think I've ever felt in my entire life. It was tough because. Yeah, I didn't know what to do or say. Like, you know, you don't know what's happening until you get radioed in something like, you know, he's out of the car, he's in the ambulance, or he's gone to medical. Like, you don't know what's going on. It's just like any driver, you know, like you don't want to see anybody be in that situation.
Well, that's it. Once you're within the paddock, you'd feel the same for any driver. It doesn't have to, even if it wasn't your team, you'd still be there. Like, and that's one thing I love about Formula One. You do see it when there's any crash. Like, every team is like, wow. Like, I want
George got out and ran over to him, didn't he?
Yeah, like insane. What, like, it's just the fact that he was like standing there calling out. Yeah, it was, man, that moment was interesting because we didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
You know, we don't actually see it. And it was just, it was mad. It was insane.
Dude, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 28.
28.
Yeah.
So
you have absolutely smashed it, mate.
You've killed it for what you've done so far.
To be able to say you've done all of that and you're 28 is unreal. And it means we're going to get to be on this journey with you for like a long time.
I love that.
No matter where we go
question,
or what
bro.
we do.
What's the next step for you? Do you want to stay in the sport for a while? Or
for sure. I think I found something I really love, you know, and this team is insane. They're honestly they're really great, top down. So I'm here to stay. I'm here to stay for a while, and then I don't know beyond that, man. I don't know.
I rate
I'm
that.
Just I'm happy. I'm just gonna keep it this way. As soon as, you know, if another challenge comes along, I'll consider it. But for now, I'm here.
I think you're in a really safe place with Alfa Romeo because, like you said, the team are great, and especially like people like Stefano and all the other people that we met. They're so creative,
they're wicked.
and they're so willing to try new ideas.
And they're good to listen. They listen, you know.
I know we stood there chatting for like 2 hours outside that paddock, just idea.
We always talk about that because the fucking girl in hospitality made me the biggest whiskey coke. So us three and Stefano were having this chat. And I was like enjoying it. By the time I rinsed my drink, I was so pissed. And I just stood there like waiting like this, thinking, "Fuck me! How long is this conversation been going on?"
Do you know what?
for?
I knew that was the case because I came to talk to you boys after, and like I think I was telling you something about like the job I was in before or something, and like you were there. You were like looking. You were exactly your face now. Right?
Oh yeah, I'm pissed now.
And you were like sort of dipping in and out, like smiling. You were like. I was like, yeah, this guy's fucking drunk, man.
I was lashed,
Don't give him any more drink. Because there's a fucking Heineken bar, that's why.
Yeah.
You boys just sat on the floor drinking all the time, weren't you?
I was battered.
To be fair, the first day we were just sat outside the Alfa Romeo motorhome on them 2 chairs, like all day, and just everyone that went past, we were like, hi.
Do you know what? I felt so bad because I was like, we're not really like doing anything with you guys. Like,
no one would be more happy just to sit there and watch than us.
We sat down. We were like, "This is perfect. This is
we wanted to go there. We would go over to the garage and be like, let's go back to the chairs." We were just loving it. It was actually really cool to go in the garage. It was the cool. First time we've ever seen it.
It's so different, isn't it? Because you don't have the commentary or anything. All you're hearing is comms when you're in the garage.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's such a different experience, isn't it?
I was fascinated by just how, like you said, how to a T everyone is, because there's that guy at the back of the car that holds the pole, and he like leans it up.
Yeah.
But when he comes back, he's not even looking where the backboard is.
No.
But then when he pulls it back, it's always perfectly just missing the counter.
Everything's so synchronized.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the car goes out, they like wipe the floor.
You boys, this sport is so perfected. Right, like these guys are like the absolute top of their game from no matter what role you think of. They are the very best. So like they just know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. They've got it down to a T. It's honestly, it's insane to watch. Like even just across the paddock, there's just so much talent. It's insane. They just everything's perfect in F. I mean, obviously sometimes there's cock-ups, but it's insane to see how perfect they can get anything. Pit stops or whatever. Like
it even feeds through the media. It feeds through you. It feeds
So,
through the hospitality.
Mate, don't forget, bro. You are one of those people.
All
You're
part
like
of the team.
Appreciate it,
a very integral part of the moving machine.
I really appreciate it. It's tough, man. It's tough. We keep moving.
Yeah,
we keep moving.
I'm really excited to see what else we could do together. I'm sure at some point we'll get out to another race, get some more snaps.
We'll make it happen.
There's loads we can do. But brother, thank you so much.
Thank you guys
for everything you've done for us. You're always going to be a massive part of this journey.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I guess that brings us to the end of this episode of Pitstop Podcast.
It does. The camera's just died as well. So I guess that is the end.
That one's still gone. That one's still on, but that one's gone. So you're going to have to say hello to that one.
That's what we're getting this one.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Pitstop Podcast. I've been Fab.
I've been Jake. Shy, thank you so much for joining us. You're an absolute legend. Thank you for our gift.
You're welcome.
That is insane. That's going on the wall for sure.
Sick.
We'll get you to sign it.
It's the first time I've actually seen it.
Mate, it's so sick. Thank you so much. Rate the podcast 5 stars, hit the follow button, and we'll be back on Monday. Just so you all know, At the time
is Monday's episode,
This
no?
is Monday's episode,
So
is
we're
it?
back on Thursday.
Oh my god! At the time of people listening to this, we're in Italy filming with a massive guest.
Yes.
Whoa.
We're in Maranello. Say no more.
See you guys later. You'll have to guess.
Shy, thank you, bro.
Bye bye.
Wow. We just did a podcast.